So the public test server just had an update, and with it comes the long-awaited change to the Mirage Weapons, for good or for bad. Long story short, it's getting nerfed so that it isn't like the best weapon set to use over, say, some master weapons which are pretty hard to get. So we have Brett Norton giving us the news of the preview patch notes. Here we are with the Mirage Balance update. The damage output of the illusions summoned by Mirage Weapons have been rebalanced. All melee illusions will perform roughly as well as the previous Barbarian illusions, while the ranged illusions will be slightly weaker. The timing of some of the illusion powers have been revised to make their number of hits more consistent within their 10-second lifespan, and the Mirage Weapons will now only spawn a single illusion rather than 3, and damage has been rebalanced around this reduction. That's a little bit sad. You will only have one clone now appearing rather than all 3. All illusions will now attack a single target, cannot miss, and the damage has been rebalanced around that. The Bard's illusion power has been replaced entirely. It is now named just Stab and performs a single thrust. Before, it was just mirroring Duelist Flurry like what the Rogue has. Then the Paranoid Delusion Companion, which was basically like the Mirage clones, is also getting a little bit of a rebalance so that it'll be single target companions, and the Bard's Paranoid Delusion will actually do something using that new Stab ability. I will have to go and test out all of the Paranoid Delusions for all of the classes, so that'll be a little bit of work, but we'll get there and I'll showcase that in a specific video. And with them updating the Paranoid Delusion again, potentially they will re-release this companion. It's really cool because when you go to summon this companion, you can see it takes on the form of yourself, and that's just really neat. You basically just have a copy of exactly what you're looking like running around. You will glow a little bit purple there though, just to denote you are a Paranoid Illusion. So you can see the new Stab ability for it will just look like this. It's not exactly the most exciting, but it's just that quick thrust, and that's the damage of it. Now I will have to go again, test out all of these and give my data on that. I'll wait a little bit till things are finalized and we'll get there, alright? We did learn that the Mirage Weapons still have the weird balancing where they will deal more damage in queued content and then even more damage on top of that in the recent master content, for a total of ×6 extra damage in Master Temple of the Spider, Examiner's Reliquary, Demon Weapons, Defense of the Moon Dance, and Imperial Citadel. Something I've been trying to tell you guys for a long time. Mirage Weapons are just not worth it outside of that content. They perform very poorly. And so Mirage Weapons are still scaling with that, meaning they still won't be that great outside of that content. But within the content, I have just done a quick test to show the damage, and we did find that they do perform pretty adequately. Not as good as, say, using a weapon set like Celerum, but very close. This is just an artifact call on Rogue here in Examiner's Reliquary, and we can see it was doing like 8 million damage. I was dealing 68 million damage in that artifact call. Here's another test, another 68 million, Mirage Weapons dealing about 9 million, so around that mark. However, in a dummy test, using a different weapon set just to buff all of our other damage, we can see we dealt like 72 million. So yeah, Mirage Weapons are in an okay spot, but it'll most likely be better to run some of the master weapon sets, the newer ones like Celerum, Void Touch, Weaver, and so on. Again, I'll come out with more thorough testing later. That's just a quick showcase. And yeah, again, unfortunately, you will only have one clone with you. This guy right there. But moving on, we do have some adjustments to Rogue. On the Assassin path, we have Dazing Strike. It's just some magnitude increases, and they're hoping that more people will actually use it. But then we go to Whisper Knife. There were some buffs here, but also some nerfs. So the Blitz encounter just got buffed up by 50 magnitude. Again, trying to make it more useful. But again, I don't really see it being used because it's versus Path Smoke Bomb and Path of the Blades, which make a lot of use from Shadowy Opportunity, resulting in them having over 1,000 magnitude each versus Blitz at only 450. But then Shadowy Disappearance got a magnitude reduction and the tooltip just updated. To be honest, I have no idea why. I mean, it wasn't really working properly. Hopefully they've gone and fixed that. But nonetheless, it's just not great. You can't use it in single target where I would like to, just to have a bit of movement. You would have it in the rotation like this: Shadow Strike, your Shadowy Disappearance, and then your Lashing Blade. And that would allow you to have a bit of movement with that. But unfortunately, Shadowy Disappearance triggers your one with the shadows, and so that doesn't work. So you can see, like, I could cast it from here, then use my Shadowy Disappearance to get close, and then use my Lashing Blade. Great for bosses who move around a lot. That's the new dungeon. But again, it consumes your one with the shadows while you're already within stealth. And so that's a no-go for artifact calls. Like, I use my artifact, I use then my combo here, my belt item, mount power, and we don't have enough stealth to go into a daily, and so you don't have a second rotation of Shadow of Demise, and so that's kind of useless. And in multi-target, it's only got a 10-foot radius. It's never going to compete with these 3 powers. But then Shadowy Opportunity did get a 20 magnitude decrease. I don't see that as such a bad thing. I mean, Rogue is already super powerful in multi-target, but there it is. They are acknowledging that, and they are reducing its effectiveness a little bit. So that'll be 20 less magnitude per hit on everything after you leave your stealth. However, be aware they just recently did increase Smoke Bomb and Path of the Blades by 20 magnitude. So you're not really going to experience much from what it was before Module 28 went live. There are some last updates here then, where we have some companion changes. So the Mage Slayer, this has been rebalanced to a single target damage companion. Unfortunately, I do not actually have this companion to test, and it's very expensive, as I assume it's very rare. So I cannot check how effective it is. I would assume, as they have been getting better, it's going to be balanced with the other near the top performing ones. But who knows, they may have messed something up and made it overpowered. But you can only expect then it to get fixed pretty swiftly. So not something I would worry too much about. Now, thankfully, the Spine Devil Companion has been fixed to properly work. However, it did get a nerf. It's gone down to just 100 magnitude damage per hit. It still makes it like one of the best companion powers to use in multi-target. Checking the logs here, we can see it is indeed triggering, and so we are actually getting the damage from it. That's good. From there, the Riotous Rothe companion, if you've been using that, it will no longer stack between players. And then the Divine Muse from the new gear, it will no longer give you some insane Divinity performance Soul Weave regeneration. And this was from the new Ultraviolet boots. These ones were giving like 200% regeneration in wild space rather than just 20%, resulting in you to have nearly infinite heal resource. So in terms of balance, that should be getting fixed then. You shouldn't be able to spam as much your heal abilities. But that is everything for the preview update. Many more videos to come. I still need to cover, again, Mirage Weapons, how they'll look in terms of all the other classes, get that testing done for the balance, but then also all the Paranoid Delusions, see how those are, and try and get my hands on a Mage Slayer companion to test. If you have one, I'd be very grateful if you send me one on the preview server. Overall, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.